Welcome on back to Skippers. Today I have 4 must-add players for your fantasy baseball teams in Week 19. First player this week is going to be Jose Quintana of the Cardinals. He is 39% rostered, 3-5, 3.50 ERA, 89 strikeouts, 1.27 WHIP, in 103 innings pitched. Just came off his second start with the Cardinals, where he pitched decently well at Coors Field, a place where pitchers don't normally succeed. He went 6 innings. He struck out 6 with only 2 earned runs. Why I want Quintana right now in my fantasy leagues. He's now on a winning team. So if you're in Roto and you need some wins, this is a guy that I'm going to pick up. As well, he has really good infield defense now on that left side with Nolan Arenado to go with his 46% ground ball rate. He returns a total ground ball rate of 59.5% on his curveball and changeup, and he throws those 2 pitches 50% of the times. And to right-handers, if you're getting breaking balls and they aren't hitting them for liners up the middle, they're going to smash them into the ground. They're going to pull off-speed pitches right to Nolan Arenado. So if the Cardinals get him back on track, Jose Quintana's pitch mix, I don't think the changeup isn't a very good pitch. Sorry, they hit that very hard. So if you get him on track with his four-seam fastball and his curveball, he should see a ton of success and a couple more whiffs at the end of the season. If he gets rid of the sinker and the changeup, I think they get hit for over expected batting average of 300. So if they can figure that out, I think the Cardinals are a pretty competent organization. They can figure Jose Quintana with the pitch mix out, and he'll be really, really good for the rest of the season. I think he's a solid plug-and-play guy. You don't really need to worry about option for the rest of the season as long as you can keep getting wins for the Cards. Second player this week is going to be Vaughn Grissom of the Braves, 24% roster. He's only played 1 game, hitting 500, homer, 2 runs batted in, and a stolen base. The number 1 ranked prospect for the Braves, Grissom homered and stole a base in his MLB debut. At 21 years and 217 days old, he becomes the youngest player to hit a home run and steal a base in his MLB debut in the modern era since 1900. The Braves surprisingly called him up from Double-A, which they also saw success in doing, calling up Michael Harris earlier this season. And again, this paid off pretty much immediately. He's a toolsy infielder, and he showed exactly why he can be useful in fantasy. In its power and speed. It's the 2 things that we always look for when we're looking at some upside of some of these players. Again, the homers haven't always been there throughout the minors, but his exit velos have shown that there is upside there. So the only thing I'm worried about really is his playing time. He's probably slotted in for a good 2.5, 3 weeks until Ozzie Albies comes back from his broken foot, I believe. But for now, I'm just going to take a chance on a guy who's super, super talented. This year in the minors, he hit 324, 14 home runs, drove in 67. He has 27 stolen bases. But what's most impressive, I was reading a Scott White article, is his strikeout rate. In his minor league career, I think it's over 4 or 3 seasons, he has struck out less than 14% of the time, which is comparable to what Juan Soto did, and it shows incredible bat-to-ball skills. Grissom's a super talented guy. I'm going to give him a chance while I can, ride it out here, see if we can ride this wave for a little bit, and that's why I'm going to pick him up, no doubt. Now I'm going to get to some deep league guys that get yelled at all the time for I've picked up all these guys. I know I'm going to stay under 50%, but 2 players who are 2% roster I'm going to go with. First, Joey Meneses of the Nationals, 348 average, 4 home runs, and 6 runs batted in. From the Nats PR team, they said Joey Meneses is the first player in Nationals history to homer 4 times in his first 7 MLB games. AAA this year, well, first of all, Meneses is a 30-year-old rookie, so I think we know what he's going to be. The ceiling isn't crazy high. We've seen what he can do in the minors and should be kind of comparable. This homer rate, I don't think is going to be very sustainable because he hasn't really done that in the minors ever. But it's nice to just ride it out while he's hot. So in AAA this season, he's hit 286 with 20 home runs and 64 runs batted. Pretty good. 1 stolen base. So we're going to ride this hot streak in the super deep leagues where we can end up. We're going to see obvious regression from Meneses, but if you keep hitting him in the 4 hole, I don't see why we shouldn't be picking him up. 30-year-old rookie, 1270 OPS so far in the majors, so maybe we won't see as much swing and miss stuff in his game, obviously, because he's a more professional hitter. But if he can keep this up for the last 2 months, hitting the 4 hole of the lineup, that's all we can ask for, and we should get some good outputs from Joey Meneses. He absolutely crushes fastballs. Nice little stat. He's hitting 625 against them with a weighted on-base average of 944. So for now, deep leagues, Joey Meneses. And finally, the last guy this week is going to be Charles Leblanc of the Marlins, 2% rostered, 429 average, 1 home run, 2 runs batted in, and a stolen base. Leblanc, obviously a good Canadian kid, but he can just flat out hit. The Marlins did him a disservice by not calling him up earlier in the season, and they had bums playing in the absence of Jazz Chisholm. In his first 10 major league games, he has 15 hits, stolen a base, and has an OPS of 1073. In AAA this season, he hit 302, 14 home runs, and drove in 45 with 6 stolen bases. I think he can be a good points league player, kind of like a little Lourdes Gurriel, someone who doesn't strike out that much but just gets a lot of hits. So I'm going to give him an ad in deeper leagues and just see if this is going to continue for Charles Leblanc, for a guy who's going to hit 6 or 7 in that Marlins lineup right now. Thank you for watching. Let me know what you think of this week's players. Keep subscribing. Keep joining the Discord. We're winding down here. Let me know if you guys want to see anything a little different here in the last couple of weeks. I'll give some players that you need to pick up before the trade deadlines, and we will see you guys next week.